Uh, okay. All right. Good evening. Hello. My name is Gavin Conway, and I want to welcome you all here tonight to our healing masterclass, our healing meditation class as well. So, on this class tonight, we're going to go through a little bit about what healing is, and I'm going to share a bit about my journey and my story. And I'm also going to walk us through a guided meditation to really help heal what holds you back. That's what this is about. So it'd be good if you could make sure you're not going to be interrupted and that you're in a space where you can actually take the time to yourself and for yourself here for the next 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how long this goes. I don't know. So I just want to give you a warm welcome here. So I want to you to ask yourself really to start with what brought you here tonight? And are we a random group of people that have come on a Zoom call? Or is there something else that's actually brought you here tonight? So I want to, yeah, Gavin says, curious about the meditation. Thank you, Debbie. How about you, Francois? What brought you here into just to bring you here tonight? What was it?
Like I said, I haven't seen you in many, many months. And yesterday I saw your email. It says, what? And you're doing something. And then meditation. I am experiencing myself with meditation different way. Guiding meditation, sound meditation, silent meditation. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, let's find out the one you got. And also you said, anybody here spent over $200,000 on personal development? I spend more than that. So therefore
Oh,
I'm saying, yeah,
yeah.
man, interesting that that number was there, and I haven't seen you in a while. So I said, hey, yeah, let's go and take a look.
All right. Awesome. And how about you, Beverly? Thanks, Francois.
Uh, I got an invitation through the growth and involvement from you. So I decided to come and check it out.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great to meet you and welcome. So I'm going to give you a little bit about my story. Uh, this is um, how can I say it? This is very important work for me. Uh, because back in 2012, I had the beginnings of a spiritual awakening. And sometimes I might get emotional. So I just want to let you know that because I'm still like in the process here. But in 2012, I'd been doing a lot of inner work, a lot of inner child work. I'd been single for 13 years. I was living in London. I was, having a good time and everything. But like I was always like on my own. And eventually, I went and I got a life coach and joined a program of, going back to look into your own inner like past, into your past, into your inner child work. And I had my own beliefs, like childhood beliefs, come back into my consciousness, become conscious, very painful ones about not deserving love. And it was what was it really? I know now that there was like the trauma associated with believing that got stored in the body is what was coming out. But the beautiful thing about it was that it was the very first time in my life that I created some space between me and what I was thinking and feeling. And in that space, I know now that we all have choice. That is the beautiful thing about consciousness, because consciousness heals. Witnessing itself is an intervention. And I want you to know that. So in the healing work and in the healing process, there's almost nothing to do. Life itself does it, and your conscious witnessing presence of what's happening in you and other people is the healing mechanism that allows it to to be enacted, let's say, or enable it. So I digress there slightly though. So in 2012, I had this awakening, and then nothing really happened. I was like, okay, what do I do with this? And then in 2019, I got into personal development, got into Bob Proctor, and was at one of his 5-day seminars, and uh, in that seminar, I got my purpose, and I didn't really know what it was exactly, how to vocalize it, but it was to help people with this work, this inner work, this healing, this thing that holds them back. And for me in my life, it would show up a lot as like a bind, like if something's frozen inside. And it's like a sense of wanting to go forward, like there's a desire to go forward, but there's also something deep inside that was holding me back. And I don't know if anyone else here has that type of sensation or feeling in yourself. If you do, just put your hand up, or just put it into the chat. But it's it's like no amount of mindset and will and intention can override it. And for different people, this past shows up in different ways. And I don't want to project onto you that that's how it's going to be. But for me, that's just my story. That's how things show up for me. That's how the those patterns that keep me held back show up. So then in 2021, this is the final piece of the story here. So in 2021, I quit my job to go all in on my coaching business, and I froze. I wasn't able to do it. And I would see other people who were like in the manifestor people, like big people seem to have really easy time manifesting. I thought, how come they can do it and I can't? Like, what is this? Like, what is the blockage? So over time, the this frustration and this lack of being able to produce the results I wanted in my life, like pushed me into a place where I had to go and look for another solution. And that solution is the healing work. It's the how to work with your nervous system, and this is what I'm teaching and sharing here tonight. So I have learned the healing techniques and also combining it with spiritual wisdom, ancient mystic principles. And when I say mystic, sometimes people think about witches and tarot and stuff like that, which is not what this is. Mystic literally means laws that govern energy, energetic laws, energetic principles about how things come into form, how they come into being, how they manifest essentially, and combining that understanding with how to work with your nervous system is, I think it's the real game changer. I think it's the future of transformation and deep transformation. So tonight, hi, hello, welcome. So tonight is really an invitation for you to maybe come in and explore that, right? So I'm going to teach some of these principles tonight, and we're also going to do a meditation to help you to just maybe feel a bit more regulated in your nervous system, so to speak, which sounds very technical and maybe a little dry, but it's really like how to have more contact with yourself, more intimacy with yourself and your heart and your soul. So, so yeah, so that's my story. I just want to welcome the other two attendees here tonight who popped in there. So, welcome, hello. So, the first question you might be asking yourself is, what is healing? And a lot of people, I think, talk about healing, but in the mystical understanding, healing means to restore the original flow, the original movement of your life. It's it's like you were born into this life, you came into this world, you incarnated into this life, and it's like life had an intention and a purpose through you. And I say through you, not for you. So I want you to just feel that. I want you to think about that. Like there's like an intention here. There's a reason why you're here. And at the at the beginning of your life, and I know at the beginning of my life, I had a violent father. There was a lot of fear. So all of this I would describe it as the inhale without the exhale, right? And that just repetitive kind of like stuck. It's like a stuck energy that becomes unconscious. And later in life, you feel stuck. You feel frozen. So, to heal in that example is to actually like transform that energy to make it conscious. And that's the work I do with people to make it conscious so you can free it up. And when it frees up and becomes conscious, it's there's emotion there. Let me just tell you, there's emotion there. But what happens is that is energy that is really unlived life energy that got frozen in time and basically trapped in your body, trapped in your nervous system. And in that part of your life, you didn't grow. You didn't develop. It's like still stuck in the past. And the thing is, you can't really feel it. It's unconscious. So the nervous system, when you're very young, like it's the most amazing thing. It's the most loving thing because it steps. So if something happens to you that was very overwhelming, your nervous system comes in and basically says, "Oh, this is too much for Beverly. This is too much for Francois. This is too much, right? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to store it and I'm going to put it away somewhere, like putting something into the fridge." And when you put something into the fridge, what happens to it? You like slow it down. You cool it down. It lasts longer. You freeze it. So in you, it's almost like a little energetic dark zone inside you. And the thing is, you're still paying the electricity bill for that. Your life is still paying the electricity bill for that. So if you have these like multiple events, like I was bullied for 10 years every day at school, right? So that's like repetitive, repetitive, uh, yeah, like repetitive freezing, repetitive suppression of emotion. So, so to heal means that you are restoring that, right? So when the emotion comes back out, it actually becomes more like become more conscious. You actually raise your consciousness. You become like more inclusive and adult in your perspective. And you're able to be there for yourself like never before. And maybe even like nobody's ever been there for you before. So healing is releasing and transforming that stuck energy so it can live and live its life. So once energy forms, because we're looking at energetic laws here too, right? So once energy forms, once energy comes into existence, it's got to live its life and then dissolve, right? So it's like I don't know anyone here who maybe has suppressed emotions, possibly, um, but it's like it's stopped, right? You stop it. So yeah, so that's what causes things like being triggered or maybe feeling like you have emotional patterns that are in a loop in you that you can't seem to break out of them. There's something you can't escape from. And no matter how hard you try, and no matter how much effort and will you try to put into it, you still feel that stuckness. Like you can't break out of it. Another symptom of these suppressed emotions and these patterns is that you you get triggered. Things trigger you. And if you're getting triggered, that means you are touching on something inside that has almost got really nothing to do with the current event, right? You are touching on that dark zone that I described. And the truth is about these patterns is that they're always there, right? You're always upset in that place, but you just can't feel it. And then, but something happens in the environment, you touch it. it becomes conscious. But the truth is, it's always there. So so healing is to like begin to clear those patterns out and those emotions. So so yeah, so it's like dissolving these parts of yourself so they can almost be updated and you can be updated and you can free yourself to be the person you were born to be and do the things you set your mind to and achieve. So, so yeah. So the other thing I want to say about healing is that healing happens in like in relationship, right? There's like a principle of interdependence. So when these wounds and these injuries and these, we could even call them karmic seeds from your past, that continue to live, they happen because you were alone with what happened. Nobody was there to see it. Nobody was there to witness you and be with you. So, so in releasing these wounds and patterns, that is why supervision or a group or having other people like witness you in your suffering or discomfort is such a healing part of the process. So, so yeah, so I want to go through here some any questions on that before I move on, because I want to go through some of these four energetic principles of healing. But any questions or anything anybody want to ask me there? No? Okay. All right. So let us look at the four principles of creation, which amazingly are totally aligned with how all things manifest, even wounds in our psyche and our nervous system, and even maybe in our spirit. So if you were to think about like manifestation moving from the imagination and kind of an energetic state, let's say, into a physical state, healing is actually the reverse. Healing is actually taking what's already become manifest in the body and and reversing this process. So in order to do it, the first principle for anything to exist and the first principle of healing is there has to be space. You have to create space inside yourself. And what that means is like slow down. You got to slow yourself down. You got to slow down your body, your breathing, and begin to create some space. Because without space, nothing can exist. And in those, overwhelming moments where you were wounded, there was no space, right? The you and the event are one. The event and the emotion and how you feel about it and all that stuff, like it is like it's all stuck together, like like words on a page that all things scrumpled up into one spot. Like you can't make it out. Like it's hard to even untangle yourself from it. So the first thing to do is begin to create some space inside yourself. And we're going to do that in this meditation. So that's the first principle of creation is space. Second, and healing. I'm going to use them interchangeably here. The second principle is movement. And it's energy in movement. And lots of life coaching. The coaching industry is all about helping us to create some movement, right? Why do we even have personal development? Because parts of us aren't developing. Because parts of us are actually energetically somewhere stuck in the past. So when you do the healing work and you create the space, it starts to move. It starts to move on its own, right? And in a, well, I'm going to say in a weird way, it's not a weird way at all. You are the space that witnesses the movement. You are the consciousness that witnesses the movement. And as it starts to move, there can be a lot of emotion here, and sometimes it can feel like intense, right? So that's why you have to have somebody with you, right, that can able to help you through the process. But once the movement happens, it gets freed up. You get freed up. So it's energy in movement. It is like unfreezing or unlocking what was previously frozen in you and causing some frozenness somewhere in part of your life. And not necessarily everywhere in your life, but certainly in some areas, you'll probably notice that, yeah, I've got flow there, but over here, I'm not having flow. So I want you to just take a minute to just think about where that might be. So the third one, third principle here is structure. The structure is like the manifest world. The structure of the wound has manifested physically in your nervous system. Like it's there. It's as real as this table. So it's for me, I was like, you're trying to build a business, you're trying to make something in your life, you're trying to create a result, which means you're trying to create a structure, right? You're trying to create something in the world. But if the energy and the movement can't flow through you and your nervous system because you have these blocks somewhere inside yourself, the manifestation won't happen. The structure won't be created. And in a very practical way, it means that you either don't do the work or you do the work in an energy that's not producing the result and the structure that you want. So these are the three like foundational principles of creation and healing and getting and really changing and transforming your life at a very deep inner level. And in my work, that's what I do. That's the outline of the principles that we will go into in what I teach. So the fourth one, which I spoke about already, is interdependence. And I think in this world, we kind of tend to think it's all us in a way. We gotta make it happen. We gotta go out there and do it. But I think what most of us maybe fail to recognize or realize is that like we are co-creating this space together. There's an energy here in the room, in this virtual room, that we're co-creating together without even trying to. Yeah. So I want you just to take a minute just to look at everybody's face on the screen and see if you just take a look and just see if you can actually feel that person. and feel that person's energy. And the amazing thing about nervous systems is that they feel each other. So the more regulated I am, the more safe everyone else's nervous system is going to feel in here. And like, I think it's the cool thing. So there is no time and space. You're all thousands of miles away from me, or some of you are, right? But your nervous system can still pick it up, right? So this is the principle of interdependence, right? Where we start to feel and like become like a witness for each other. Where you start to feel like, oh, I belong in this space. And when we're growing up, there's two things that are needed, right? There's belonging and there's becoming. And if you don't feel like you belong, it is really hard for you to become. You can't do it. So as we grow up, uh, we come home to our parents, we come home to our belonging, and then they get boring. Oh my God, my parents are so boring. I'm going to head out. I'm going to go become, right? And it is just this flow in and out, right? Which is how we develop, right? Which is also what I teach and share in the work I do. So yeah, so that's the principles of healing and manifestation, which I think is a pretty cool kind of parallel between them. But so yeah, um, I'm going to stop there to see if you have any comments or questions or anything before we go into our meditation. Go ahead, Francois.
Thanks for the four energetic forms of creation. Number one, space. I realize if we create space, it can be, and then movement. If we're stuck and we do movement, then we're not stuck anymore. So that space allows the one I don't get is structure. Structure is the manifestation of the womb. Explain this one to me. Last one, interdependence. We're co-creators. We feel either, and I put some words. I said,
Hmm.
we feel others and we set the stage as well. And others, if they're feeling resistance, maybe that we're judging. And if they're feeling flow, that means that we're loving. So, but structure, I don't get it. Please expand.
Okay. Structure is basically what's like here, like it's what's physical, essentially. So I know you work in thinking into results, right? You got to take a thought, right? And then how does it happen? Like, well, a thought comes in. Yeah, 3D world. Yes. Yeah, a thought comes in and it's you could say that that's light, that's inspiration, that's in movement, right? And you create the structure just means to build something, right? So if you're creating a structure, that we could also call that doing work. We're going to do the work. How does something manifest? It manifests through a structure. And what is a structure? Like your body is a structure, right? And it creates another structure, whether that's I don't know, business, company, whatever it is, like everything that we've created in this world has come from an idea, an inspiration, and then has gone through the structure of you to then be created in the world, which is creating another structure. So does that help? Is
Yeah,
that
makes sense. So therefore, I
yeah.
added three words too many. So structure is the manifestation of, and it says of the womb. It's not necessarily of the womb. It could be of
Yeah,
anything.
it can be of anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. But
Thank you.
structurally, you will have a structure, a thing there, something in you which has also become manifest,
Got it. Thank
such as
you.
that wound, right? That
Yes.
energetic wound that we want to heal. If we want to heal what holds us back, of course. So, let us, how we, I think we want to take, let's do like, I'm going to take us through a guided meditation. Okay. And this is a foundational practice that I use to support my healing and the healing of other people. Okay. So, let's begin. So if you want to take, I know we'll probably do this for about 7 minutes or so, but I'm not going to time it. I'm going to set my alarm for 10 minutes and make sure we don't go over because we might just go off into outer space here or something. So let's just hold on. Let me just check this. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is if you want to go off camera for this, if that's more comfortable for you, that's fine too, okay? So please feel free. If you're driving, I guess you can do what you can. So, uh, all right. Okay, so this is a three sync meditation, which this is about synchronizing and creating an alignment in yourself. Okay. And the first thing to start with is your breath. And your breath is an old friend of yours that has been there since the very start of your life. And when you want to learn to heal yourself in this healing process, one of the key things is beginning to allow yourself to breathe. So this is very simple. All you have to do is just breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and just breathe out for longer than you're breathing in. And whatever feels comfortable for you. So just take a few minutes just to start that and do that now. So now I want you to notice your distance from the ground. And I want you to feel your sitting and feel the chair or whatever structure is actually supporting you. Just take a minute to feel your feet on the ground. And notice if you feel close to the ground or far away from the ground, or if there's any distance there. And whatever you find is absolutely right. Through this whole process, there is no right or wrong. It's about noticing and just being with what is. The next thing I want you to put your attention to is parts of your body where you feel energy moving. It could be in your arms, in your chest, in your legs, down to your feet. Where are you feeling that movement? It can be streaming, pulsing. That is life energy. The next thing I want you to put your attention to and see if you can notice if there's any parts of you that feel kind of like numb. Like that you can feel that you can't feel it. And whatever you find is perfectly okay. What I'd like you to do is just put your attention on that numb place, if you have one, and just like be with it. Maybe like you would be with a small child. And give it some love and compassion and support if you want. And if you don't want to, that's okay too, because everything is perfectly fine and good in this process. The next area to put your attention on is your emotional state right now. What are you feeling? What emotion is here? And whatever is here, honor that. Whatever arises is ready to be witnessed and held and hosted by you. The next area to move your attention to is your thought process, your mental activity. So just notice it. Is it moving quickly? Is it kind of quiet? Your mental activity has a fuel, an emotional fuel. So whatever you notice is perfectly all right, and welcome it. Welcome all of these states and sensations. And finally, is there something you would like to invite into your life? Some grace, some light. And see if you can feel the top of your head. And if there's something that wants to stream into your consciousness and into your life. So take a few minutes to write anything down that come out of that. And when you're ready, just come back into the room. So when you're ready, come back into the room. Okay. So if the other people are ready to come back, hopefully you can hear me or that you know the time has passed. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 no stress, 10 stress, how do you feel? I want to put it into the chat. I'm just also wondering if anything happened there for you. Thank you, Beverly. 4. 0 is no stress. Corey's feeling an 8. Your stress is feeling high, Corey. Francois a 1. Okay. Anything you want to share about that? And I'm going to stop the recording to give you a chance to do that.